Audio coming through? Okay, good. Okay, good afternoon. Thanks for coming to the Citadel Football Weekly Press Conference. Citadel hosts Presbyterian here on Saturday night at 6 p.m., coming off a 31-14 win over Newberry on Saturday. Bulldogs now 11-2 under head coach Brent Thompson and 1-0 here in 2017. I'll ask Coach Thompson to come up to the podium and give an opening remark, and then we'll take questions after.
Thanks, Zeke. Well, first of all, it was good to be back out here playing after a long off season. We had a lot of different things going on in the off season, so it was good just to get back to football at this point. We were excited. We got a first-hand look at what the new stadium or the new Johnson Haygood was going to look like for the time being. I thought it was a good crowd. I think we need to have a little bit better of a crowd next week. I think it was somewhere around 8,000 or 9,000 or so. We need to probably get that up a little bit and try to fill this thing close to max capacity out here because we're going to have a very good football team coming to town. But I thought it was about a typical game for us. I thought we played excellent on defense in the first half, gave us a lot of possessions. We had about 10 minutes in the first quarter of possession time, which is about the way that we do it. We try to figure out what we're going to do. Where do we need to expose the defense at? It came out in a little bit of a different defense than we expected. We had to adjust to it a little bit. Once we adjusted to it, I thought we played extremely hard, both sides of the ball. Defense was running to the ball. They were stopping plays that could go for 5 or 6 at 1 or 2 yards, which is what you need to do, especially in the opener. Played very sound fundamentally on special teams. There's a couple things that we've got to clean up on special teams, but for the most part, I thought we made the field goals. We made the extra points. We kicked the ball deep to them. We actually got a stop. We played the field position game. The freshman punter did a great job. Noah Cannon did a great job of pinning them inside the 1-yard line, which certainly helps. It certainly helps in our game. Second half was a little bit different. I thought we were fairly fresh in the second half. I thought our endurance levels were still pretty high. Played good defense, moved the ball a little bit more, and then of course you have the one big play by Cam Jackson to kind of get us going in the right direction. Newberry, they certainly battled back. They had an opportunity to go get it to, I believe it was 28-14 at the time, and they did a good job of being able to move the ball on us. We need to do just a little bit better job of, first of all, not turning it over and giving them the 7 points there, but also we need to do a little bit better job of our fundamentals and don't give up a big one there later on in the fourth quarter, which got us to a 14-point ball game. So a couple of things that we can clean up. We had a couple of assignment errors, but really the thing that I was looking for is, for the most part, we won the turnover battle. We won the time of possession battle. We did a good job on our special teams. We played extremely hard out there, and we were successful. And if my goal was to be 1-0 at the end of the week, we certainly were 1-0. We've got a good Presbyterian team coming in here. It's hard to tell based upon the Wake Forest game. I think that Wake Forest team is a much different Wake Forest team that they've been in the past. It's a bowl team last year. It's a team that got out a little bit ahead of them early. It was hard for them to play catch-up. They got into a bad field position battle with them, and a couple times Wake Forest had the short field. So it'll be interesting. They've got a little bit of younger defensive roster, as our offensive roster is a little bit young. So that'll be an interesting matchup for us. But I still think that this is it's a defensive-minded head coach. They're going to be very defensive-oriented. They're going to do a good job. The offense, they had a freshman running back go for 100 yards. The quarterback's a great playmaker. And I was impressed with just watching their offensive line briefly. Is fairly athletic. They move extremely well. And they add to about 200 yards of rushing on a good Wake Forest team. And with that combined with the freshman Arkansas State mid-year transfer running back, I thought they're going to give us a bit of a challenge on the defensive side as well. But we got to continue to play our game, do what we do best, and worry about us, and we'll let the rest fall into place.
You said Saturday you gave your offense a grade of a C-. What needs to change?
Well, if I graded them all out based upon everything, a C- was about right. I think our effort was probably about an A. Our execution was somewhere in the B, somewhere there. But our missed assignments hurt us and the turnover hurt us, and that's where we probably graded ourselves down a little bit. We need to do a little bit better job of taking care of the ball, getting first downs. We don't convert a 4th and 1 down here inside the 5-yard line, and you know how kicking chip shot field goals is not my game. I'd rather score touchdowns at that point. And when you're triple option offense, you fully expect to get it. And just like Coach Johnson last night fully expects to get the 3 yards for the 2-point conversion last night, but it doesn't always go your way.
Brent, how did the 2 freshman guards and your new fullback grade out?
Well, I thought all three of them played extremely tough, and that's the most important thing. They played with great energy out there. They played probably better than my expectations, especially the two guards. Brandon Rainey, I had a little bit more of an experience with watching him last year in practice. I knew that he was going to be a tough, good player for us, but the two guards not having a whole lot of game experience on them, I love the way that they play, and they're going to be very, very good in this offense once they figure it all out. But the most important thing that they played with was great effort. No, Brandon was fine. Lorenzo certainly, he's earned and deserved that opportunity. He's done a great job. He's a guy that has been with us. He's an older guy at that position. Kind of with some of the injuries that have taken place, we've been able to get him some good quality reps in there, and we don't have any problem putting him on the field. Anybody that's come to some of our scrimmages would know his name.
Could you tell us about Grant Drakeford's progress since he arrived at Citadel?
Yeah, I recruited Grant personally. I recruited him, and we did recruit him before he went to Georgia State, spent a year at Georgia State. Mom and Dad called me and said that he would like to transfer over here, so we kind of looked at all the transfer stuff. And it ended up being a great situation for him. He's come a long way academically. He's come a long way on the football field. He's always been a tremendous talent. The only thing that's kept him back was his blocking, and I think we got over that hurdle last year in the spring, and he really came back to fall camp in probably the best shape of all the A-backs. He was beating everybody in the sprints, and I took notice at that, and that's how he ended up in the 2 deep.
Anyone else?
Brent, what is PC trying to do on offense, scheme-wise? The new coach.
Well, they're going to be very similar to Newberry. It's the same offensive staff, so you see a lot of different things that are different within their offense. They did a couple of veer style things out of to Wake Forest, but really for the most part you'll see a very similar offense to Newberry. They do make a great effort to run the football, and I would be surprised if they didn't try to run it more with the freshman running back that had over 100 yards last week. So I would see them probably taking a little bit more of an effort to run it.
One more? Anyone? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Aaron, why don't you step up there for us? Junior running back Grant had a career high 65 yards on 7 carries on Saturday night. His first career touchdown. And we'll just go ahead and open it, Jeff.
Grant, why didn't you come to Citadel the first time?
Well, actually, first time I was just planning on. Well, I actually had offers from Air Force, but that actually went away at the beginning of it. So I planned to go home, stay at home at Georgia State, and I felt like that was my best opportunity. And I took that redshirt year at Georgia State, and then got in contact with Coach Thompson. I felt like this would be the best position for me.
What position were you playing at Georgia State?
Georgia State, I was actually slot wide receiver.
What was the first touchdown like?
First touchdown was pretty good. It was actually my second career touchdown I scored versus North Carolina last year. But it felt good. I had all my family in the stands, and it was a great moment.
What led to your decision to transfer?
Well, I just felt like it was a very deep position at Georgia State, and I felt like coming here to the Citadel, I needed a new change of scenery, so to say. And I felt like coming here, knowing Coach Thompson and talking with him over the phone, I felt like this would be a great position for me. I came in playing quarterback, and that was my dream, to play quarterback. So that's what I wanted to do, but obviously that didn't pan out well. So me playing A-back has been great, and I'm enjoying every moment of it. So.
Obviously, you guys have a lot of running options on offense. Is that a good thing? Does that take kind of the pressure off your shoulders? Cam can do something, Dom can do something, Jordan can do something. You guys obviously have a lot of options on offense.
It's definitely great to have multiple options. You said Cam, Jordan, Dom, and even Rod Johnson. They all do a great job running the ball. It's just great to have multiple options. I'm sure Coach Thompson's happy about it. We all get to stay fresh and go in and have a great game.
How big, the fact that they had a pretty rough opening week and you guys had a pretty good opening week. How different confidence level? Do you like kind of coming in having that confidence of a nice convincing win in week 1?
Oh, it's definitely nice to finish with a win. Obviously, Coach Thompson talks every week about being 1-0 after every week, and that's what we're trying to do. Just play in the next week and make sure we're undefeated after each week.
Anything else? Thank you, Grant. Jeff, Andy. Aaron, why don't you step up there for us? defensive back Aaron Spann. First interception on Saturday night, a couple of tackles in the 31-14 win over Newberry, and we're just open it to questions.
Aaron, what's your view of how the defense did?
I felt like we played pretty good. We had a couple misalignments, communication things. But overall, we played a pretty solid game for a first game. We're probably day and night from where we were last year with our first game against Mercer.
How so? How are you guys doing?
Just the physicality, playing fast, knowing where we're supposed to be, and the confidence that the coaches have given us. You know, we feel pretty good about the win on last Friday.
What corrections need to be made this week, do you feel like?
Just more focus, you know. We got a lot of guys stepping up into new roles. This is actually my first year starting as through the whole year, so just a lot of young guys coming up and replacing a lot of other guys too, you know.
You guys need anything else? Scotty, anything else? Okay. If anyone needs anything off to the side, that'll wrap us up. But if you need something off to the side, let me know and I'll help you.